Hello and welcome back to the JW Thoughts channel. My name is Wally and we are going to be picking up on our, I think I called it Ancient Apostates. It's the Why Respect Jehovah's Authority video. I like going back and watching some of these older videos because I think it is a proper laugh. Quickly before we get started on that though, is if you haven't watched the first part of it, you might want to check that out so you're up to speed on all of the lore. And second, if you're new here, please subscribe to the channel. I have a lot of cool videos that are going to be coming out. I've spent probably the last 2 weeks, maybe a little bit longer, just working on some higher quality videos. Well, I don't know about higher quality, but more interesting things. So I would say the end of this month, the start of next month, halfway through this one, somewhere in that time zone is when I'll be actually releasing those. But they will be definitely the best videos that we've ever had on the channel so far. So I'm really looking forward to it. And, oh, one other thing is it looked like the Witnesses Got Talent was the one that got the most votes. So that is the one that we're going to be doing as far as like a big skit sort of deal. So I've started putting that one together. It's going to be really, really funny. Uploaded on a Saturday morning, should put a laugh on or a smile on everyone's face. So that should be pretty exciting. Anyway, I got ZZ here. I got a cup of coffee because I am recording earlier than normal. So I got my coffee and it's very hot in here. So I'll try not to pass out. Anyway, with all of that being said, run the intro, get your finger guns on, and let's watch this. All right, well, let us see what these ancient apostates are up to.
We're growing restless, Korah. The defeat we have suffered at the hands of the Amalekites and the Canaanites have caused us to weep before Jehovah. But on account of Moses, Jehovah will not listen to our voice.
I love the music.
Moses makes a show of goodness and of compliance with Jehovah's will. He uses persuasion rather than force. And by his secret cunning he has become wickedly powerful. And he has exalted Aaron, his brother, in the same way.
Truly spoken!
Now it is proper for the people to punish such men.
Sorry to interrupt in the middle of Korah's old magnum opus speech here, but I just have to go back to that. It's really funny that they're always portraying, you know, these ones that are going against Jehovah's authority are the ones that are seeking to usurp, you know, God's chain of command. And what they're really saying, you know, is the governing body and elders or whatever it might be. But when you flip it around, they're like, hey, they're trying to use persuasion rather than force. So they see themselves as the persuasive ones. They see themselves as the ones that are making sound, logical, reasonable arguments. And they see apostates as ones, you know, waving signs and yelling and screaming, yo, look at those people they're using. Because that's what all of us ex-JWs do. We use force and not persuasion. 100%. You guys got it right on that one. Yeah.
Even while they think their wicked designs are concealed from us.
They should be punished!
Punish them all!
Wait.
Do not let them
Is
gain
mine?
the strength until there's nothing left for them to do.
That was way decent. Hold on, I gotta go back. I gotta go back here. Let's see this. 2750.
Even while they think their wicked designs are concealed from us.
They should be punished!
They should be punished.
Punish them all!
Ah, punish them all. That's like some Godzilla. Ah, that was funny.
God has determined to bestow that honor on one of the tribe of Levi. Am I not also of that
beard
tribe?
is really good.
A prince of Levi.
Though I would not take it upon myself the dignity of this high office, unless it were urged upon me by the people.
You must appoint a new head.
On the other hand,
voices are hilarious.
if God determined to bestow this honor on the tribe of the firstborn, then someone from the tribe of Reuben would have it justly. The Nathan and Abiram would have it.
Yeah.
For they are the oldest men of the tribe of Reuben, men of great wealth, men of fame.
Yes, that's what it's all about. Wealth and fame, baby. Oh, yeah.
Moses.
This guy's stealing my intros. He's always pointing with the finger guns.
That is enough of you, because the whole assembly are all of them holy, and Jehovah is in their midst. Why then should you lift yourselves up above the congregation of Jehovah?
I love the cadence, how it
Korah,
never changes.
both you and all those with you, these 250 men of the sons of Israel are chieftains of the assembly, summoned ones of the meeting, men of fame. But in the morning, Jehovah will make known who belongs to him, and who is holy, and who must come near to him. And whomever he may choose, this one will come near to him. Do this. Take fire holders for yourselves, you and your entire assembly,
Like
and
these
put
guys
fire
actually
in them,
practice my
and
elder
place
voice.
incense on them before Jehovah tomorrow. And it must occur
Tomorrow.
that the man whom Jehovah will choose, he is the Holy One.
And the man who Jehovah
well.
will choose. He.
It is well.
They
Joshua,
really do the elder voice.
Here I am, my lord.
Dathan and Abiram are not presently with this assembly. Go and ask them, please, to come up also, that they may hear the word of Jehovah.
As you say, my lord.
Listen,
He's
please,
really,
you sons
working
of
that
Levi.
stick over there.
Is it such a little thing for you men that the
Pretty
God
awkward.
of Israel has separated you from the assembly of Israel to present you to himself, to carry on the service of Jehovah's tabernacle, and to stand before the assembly and to minister to them, and that he should bring you and all your brothers, the sons of Levi, with you near? So must you men also try to secure the priesthood? For that reason, you and all your assembly who are gathering together are against Jehovah. As for Aaron, what is he that you men should murmur against him?
He kind of disobeyed God a lot, from my recounting of the stories. He was always in the midst of trouble, but man, that guy was made of adamantium.
You are alone, Joshua. Have Dathan and Abiram, the sons of Eliab, come up?
No, my lord. Here's the word of Dathan and Abiram. We're not going to come up. Is it so little a thing that you've brought us up out of a land flowing with milk and honey to put us to death in the wilderness, that you should also try to play the prince over us to the limit? As it is, you've not brought us up into any land
really
that is
meta. This
flowing
guy's
with milk
acting
and
within
honey,
acting.
that you might give us an inheritance of field and vineyard? Is it the eyes of those men that you want to bore out? So they said, we are not going to come up.
O Jehovah, do not turn to look at their grain offering. Not one male ass of theirs have I taken away, nor have I harmed one of them. Korah, you and all your assembly,
So maybe a few
be
female
present before
asses.
Jehovah, you and they and Aaron, tomorrow. And it must occur that the man whom Jehovah will choose, he is the Holy One. Yes, let Jehovah choose.
Yeehaw.
That is enough of you, you sons of Levi.
You sons of Levi. Imagine just like being annoyed at someone while you're driving and you roll down the window. That's enough of you, you sons of Levi.
Oh, smile, very good.
think I'm gonna
We'll
going
use
to
all the
actually do
fingers,
that.
all the different chords. Oops. Let's try that again. My brother,
Uncle Elkanah?
By now, the men are assembling before the tent of meeting, before the face of Jehovah. This is a very sad day for our nation and our tribe, my brother.
What's happening, Father?
We're waiting on a judgment from Jehovah, my son. Now, please go sit with your mother. We'll finish your lesson a little later.
Yes, Father.
Thank you, my son.
Let the men talk.
Why, thank you very much for helping me, my dear. Do you want to help me make a blanket?
Can I pick the colors?
Of course you can. Amsai, Husham.
Amzai, it pleases my heart greatly to see that you haven't joined Korah. You didn't present yourself before Jehovah at the tent of meeting.
I wouldn't present myself as a candidate for the priesthood. Nevertheless, I don't oppose Korah and his assembly for their right to do so.
I don't think you understand how serious this is. They're awaiting a sign from Jehovah himself. Moses hasn't revealed to us what it'll be, but I'm afraid our father's act of
Humanity's been
presumptuousness
waiting
isn't
for
going
a
to go
sign from
unpunished.
Jehovah for
And now
thousands of
Moses
years.
will present himself before the tents of Dathan and Abiram, that they too might hear the word of Jehovah.
I'd also hear what it is Moses would say to him. I, for my part, don't deny Dathan and Abiram their right to do what they've done.
But Amzai, they've denied the word of God spoken by Moses.
Does Jehovah speak only by Moses?
This guy's got some eyes.
Aren't we also a part of Israel? How do you know Jehovah doesn't also speak through Korah, Dathan, and Abiram? They're older men too. They came with us out of Egypt. Isn't Moses a man just like us?
Please, Amzai, beware of the rebellious talk of Dathan and Abiram.
It would seem that Jehovah's preparing to answer those questions himself. You didn't stand up with Korah, but how are you going to stand when Dathan and Abiram are called to account?
We shall see. We shall see.
He went to the Stephen Lett School of Acting. We shall see. It's lost. The man in black just comes out. I appoint Jacob. Those of you that haven't seen Lost, that's a huge spoiler. The man in black is the same person as the smoke.
Say to us, Moses.
I'm just ruling the whole show for you.
Have you come here
Take
to
that.
play the prince over us?
Turn aside, please, from before the tents of these wicked men.
Who does he think he is?
Korah, Dathan, and Abiram. Do not touch anything that belongs to them, that you may not be swept away in all their sin.
He can't be talking about us.
Aha, and who else do we have here? The so-called sons of Korah? Have you also been taken in by Moses' fear-inspiring
That is the best
threats?
beard, 100%.
You claim to keep the law. Does not the law say honor your father?
Yes, you sons of Korah.
Why are you not with your father now?
You son of Korah.
That is the fifth of the 10 words, Abiram.
The first three demand exclusive devotion to Jehovah.
Jehovah himself is still in the midst of Israel. Separate yourselves while there is time.
What are they doing?
You are among the tribe of Reuben. You exercise no authority here. You separate yourselves from our midst.
Amzai! Please, Amzai!
You're a fool.
By this you will know that Jehovah has sent me to do all these deeds, that it's not of my own heart. If it's according to the death of all mankind, that these people will die, and with the punishment of all mankind, that punishment will be brought upon them, then it is not Jehovah that has sent me. But if it's something created, that Jehovah will create, and the ground has to open its mouth
Just a little thunder
and
coming
swallow
from
up
a
them and
luminous
everything that
black
belongs to them,
smoke
and they
hovering
have
over
to
a
go
country.
down alive into Sheol, then you will know for certain that these men have treated Jehovah disrespectfully.
No respect. Can I change my mind, please? The ground wasn't moving that fast, but it was just sliding into it. That was really funny. Sandals with the socks that are just like smoking, just standing there. That's all I want to see. Just smoking sandals.
It was a great tragedy. Down they went, and all that belonged to them, alive into Sheol.
Just one quick little side rant. It's so funny that whenever they are portraying these ancient, Bible stories, and they try and show that God at one point did, show up in some supernatural phenomenon, you would think that would be enough proof for people to say, you know what, we are going to listen to God now, because now that he's made himself 100, like, you can't deny something. I mean, obviously you couldn't prove exactly where the phenomenon was coming from, but you would be like, okay, something's up here. And I bring this up because oftentimes if you ask someone that is a believer, well, why doesn't God just pop in and say, hey buddy, what's up? Here's how it all is. Like, make it 100% like that you couldn't be mistaken about it, that the God of the Bible, this Jehovah, Yahweh, whatever you want to call him, actually exists, and it would clear things up. Now, when he did that in the past, people still disobeyed him. And so when people today say, well, if he did that, then it would take away your free will, because it would be so obvious. Well, no, you have all these examples already in the Bible of God, popping in, blasting a bunch of people, and children sitting there watching, and yet a generation later, not even a generation later, sometimes even with the same people, they will still disobey him. So it doesn't actually affect your free will, because you could still just go against him because you wanted to do something else. So free will has nothing to do with whether or not God manifests himself in the physical universe whatsoever. And I think it's really funny whenever they portray something like this, because whenever you see it like on camera or film, it's always a little bit more impactful. But to me, I just think, okay, so why doesn't God do that now? The answer, well, then it would just be too obvious. And he's given us, enough, the Bible, and that's enough. No, it's not enough. Not for me. So he's not doing enough because that's not convincing to me. Well, if he did that, then you wouldn't have free will. Well, that doesn't work, because these idiots, the Israelites, kept over and over and over again seeing these supernatural phenomenon happening, and they kept disobeying him. Anyway, random weird sidebar. Zizi's almost touching the space bar himself. Let's have him do it.
And the earth went covering them over, so that they perished from the midst of the camp. And fire came out from Jehovah, and proceeded to consume your grandfather and the 250 men offering incense. These perished in the rebellious talk of Korah. This was one of the darkest times ever for our family, and really for the entire nation. It was something we didn't recover from quickly. So, my son, that's why your father's face sometimes looks sad when we talk about your grandfather.
I understand that now more than ever before, Uncle.
But my son, we have to make sure that sadness doesn't cause us to forget what really happened here. My father and his companions actually rebelled against Jehovah's authority. Their envy, pride, and ambition led to rebellion, and in the end, they brought dishonor upon themselves. My father sought glory, but his glory was short-lived. I'm glad, though, that my brothers and I took the right side of the issue.
It must have been hard, though.
Yes, it was. But that helps us to understand how important it is that we not allow friendships or family to take priority over our relationship with Jehovah and our obedience to him.
I got something to say on that. Give me 1 second, though. There's an old dog barking. Always making sure you're taking care of your pets. Be a good pet owner. Okay, here we go. Oh, that's right. Right before that, he had mentioned that they're using this as an example of, why it's important to put your obedience to Jehovah ahead of your family, your friends, anybody. And everyone that's an ex-witness, anyone that's been a Jehovah's Witness knows exactly what this message is really saying. There are going to be situations and times when basically your loyalty to the organization is going to butt up against your familial, relationships or ties. And what you are supposed to do is take the side of the organization. Take sides with Jehovah. And the other people, just let them be damned. And I guess I didn't really realize so much how far back. It's felt like more recently that they've been putting this message out there. And I guess it's been for a really long time that it's been so focused on. And I find it particularly insane whenever... More dogs barking. I find it particularly insane whenever it comes to the person dies and you're just sitting there on the sideline. Hold on, I gotta figure this out now. And I sit down and the old girl starts barking again. Be right back. Okay, we're back. Anyway, her hips are don't quite work very well, so her back legs are troublesome. So if she's thirsty or needs to go to the bathroom, she can't necessarily get up to do it on her own. But all is well now. That's called taking care of your family, something the Jehovah's Witnesses know nothing about, because you should abandon your family immediately if the Watchtower organization, if the Jehovah's organization tells you to. It's quite crazy. Let's move on.
Yes. Ultimately, successful direction for us humans comes from Jehovah. We should trust completely in his choices of appointed ones.
This is the God that said it was okay to
those
own
whom
human
Jehovah
beings.
has appointed.
That is how we are
shows
successful.
respect for
Owning human
Jehovah's
beings.
authority.
Thank you for sharing that with me, Uncle. It really
Let me
helps you
go
put
beat
all
my
the
slaves.
pieces together.
I'll be right back.
You're welcome, my son. Now, what do you say we get back to our arrangement? Let's see. Where do we stop?
We were at the beginning of the second verse, Uncle?
Ah, yes. Here we are. Ready?
Ready.
Go.
Jehovah's expressions of love and kindness I will sing about to time indefinite, for generation after generation.
And with all of this craziness, it never worked out. With God's guidelines and all of that nonsense, they kept disobeying continually. That's right, the old Sam
A tragic lesson for those involved in the rebellion, and a costly one for the nation of Israel.
Excuse me.
As you watch these events unfold, with which drama character did you identify?
Korah.
It is easy to say that we would be just like the sons of Korah, rather than to be like their father, or like Dathan and Abiram. But which drama characters best represent who we are in the deep recesses of our heart? Jude verse 11 says, "Too bad for those who have perished in the rebellious talk of Korah." Yes, the negative talk of Korah had infected others. Sadly, some in the Christian congregation today have lent an ear to the rebellious and poisonous talk of those who do not respect Jehovah. Perhaps swayed by that person's years of dedicated service or by his prominence in the congregation. But we should remember that Korah, too, had been a long-time loyal servant of God. So to glibly say, "I am loyal," is not an assurance that we will be obedient and submissive.
That's funny because I remember when I was younger, people would talk about telling stories of when it came to persecution, how many in a particular congregation didn't stick with Jehovah. They're basically like, I'll sign the political card, or whatever it might be. But I just remember there was always these stories circulating where it was like, 50% of people, so look around the congregation now, 50% of them aren't going to be loyal to Jehovah, so you need to be really careful of your associates. And I guess that's kind of exactly what he's saying now. It doesn't matter how long you've been in there. It's more than just saying, I am loyal to Jehovah. Because once the test comes, then you get to see who the real person is.
Too bad that some in modern times have perished spiritually because of the influential thinking of treacherous hearts. Respecting Jehovah's authority also involves another important factor: loyalty. How many different aspects of loyalty did you count in the drama? 2?
Maybe.
3?
Maybe.
5?
Maybe.
There were 6 different areas wherein Korah and the other rebels failed the test of loyalty.
I guess we're going to go through them.
First, they did not loyally support godly authority.
So, Amzai, whose will is actually carried out? That of Moses or that of Jehovah?
Supposedly Jehovah's will.
Isn't it clear then, Amzai, that both Moses and Aaron have not arbitrarily lifted themselves up above the congregation? And if anyone objects to their authority,
we're really
even
doing the full
someone who in the
recap
past
here.
has been faithful and loyal, whose authority do you think he's actually challenging?
Well, I know I have to answer Jehovah's authority. However, in my eyes, Moses' leadership is a failure.
You're a fool.
As back then, today, Jehovah appoints imperfect men to take the lead in the congregation. Of necessity, then, loyalty to Jehovah means to avoid resisting the decisions of elders in the congregation. We must believe that Jehovah is aware of all issues and circumstances. Oftentimes, we are not. What was the second test?
That's one of the more annoying things. I probably talk about it often enough, but yes, he appoints imperfect men, and they might not do things exactly right, but you should just be loyal anyway. And as soon as you ask, okay, well, what's the evidence that they are appointed by Jehovah? Oh, well, it just is. Well, it's evident by their, the fruits that they bear, the good things that they do. All right, so if you're using that as evidence for why they're appointed, then why can't I use that as counter evidence for why they're not appointed? If they mess up, if they do the wrong thing, it doesn't follow logically whatsoever. Well, how do we know that they're appointed? Well, it's borne out by their works. Okay, well, what if their works are bad? Well, those are just a few bad apples. No, that doesn't work for me, because then you're dealing with an incompetent God that doesn't know actually how to run his organization efficiently and effectively. Sorry, I'm so nasally all of a sudden.
What was the second test?
You sons of Levi!
You son of Levi!
Hear me now. Is Moses able to give any just cause as to why he has bestowed the priesthood on Aaron and his sons? God has determined to bestow that honor on one of the tribe of Levi. Am I not also of that tribe?
Though I would not take it upon myself the dignity of this high office,
Unless it were urged upon me by the people.
We need to counteract the spiritual viruses of pride, ambition, or jealousy. What is the antidote to such destructive motives? Love.
And it's my
because
definition of love, by the
does
way.
not get puffed up. The next test of loyalty involved the rebels' reaction to the deficiencies of Moses and Aaron.
Would you three claim that Moses and Aaron are always right? Don't they make mistakes? Like
Of course they do, because obviously they're imperfect men like the rest of us. Jehovah surely is aware of their mistakes, more than any
Again,
of us.
it's an inefficient thing.
When Moses got married to that Cushite woman.
Like, if you hire an accounts manager that's actively cheating on taxes, and you know this, and you're like, well, eventually I'm going to get caught out and I'm going to go to jail, you should fire that person, or, you know, find someone that's going to do it the right way. You don't just be like, well, we'll all learn something from this. It's really silly.
Man,
Susie, what do you think?
to the measure of stature that belongs to the fullness of the Christ. As a human, Jesus loyally supported Jehovah's arrangement, even though the deficiencies of those around him were readily apparent. Fourth, despite the fact that Jehovah had protected and sustained them, the nation of Israel began to murmur and complain.
Why didn't we die in the land of Egypt? It's better than to die in this wilderness.
Hear me, my brothers! Hear me! Let us appoint a head, and let us return to Egypt!
Be of good courage, my brothers. Do not condemn God as having told you lies.
Trust in Jehovah to help us, and follow those whom he has appointed as leaders, even Moses and Aaron.
Do not listen to them. These men deserve to die.
In the congregation today, a complaining spirit is easy to spot in others.
Oh, absolutely.
But it can be transparent when we are the source. We need to submerge and drown all complaining and murmuring.
Submerge
Apostle Paul
and
urged
drown.
Christians to
Wow.
keep doing all things free from murmurings. Unlike the Israelites, we should not lose sight of the fact that the temporary inconveniences we experience in this system are minor when compared with the rich blessings of God's new world.
See, that sums it up, really. It's like, yeah, you know, these things might not be okay. Yeah, it might be wrong. It might be messed up. But honestly, it doesn't matter, because you are going to get to have baby pandas and lots of baskets of fruit, and you'll live forever and ever and ever and for all eternity, which sounds terrifying, by the way. And yeah, so, you know, whatever's going wrong now, just don't worry about it. It's kicking the can down the road. I'm not going to live my life now. I want to live for the future, a future that I can't prove, a future that I can't say definitively actually exists or is real. That is the witness mindset. Just, well, deal with it now, and eventually in the future, everything will be great.
What did you identify as the fifth test of loyalty?
Moses and his clan.
It's time to act. What happened to leadership in our nation? I don't
Nice
believe
voice
that
crack.
Moses
I
enjoys
don't
the
believe-
confidence of the people anymore.
And then when you think of the appointment of his brother Aaron as high priest, that makes me sick.
My brothers, you are right. The next high priest would be half my age. Moses did not even consider me worthy to be head of our own family, the Kohathites. He appointed Eli Zathan, a man younger than me.
Is it just by Moses alone that Jehovah speaks?
Remember, Korah was upset at the thought of a younger man being given more responsibility than himself. So although Korah desired more privileges, it was for the wrong reasons. On the other hand, his sons were content to serve merely as assistants to the priests. It is a beautiful thing to see loyal ones who have learned to blossom in the soil where they are planted. The sixth and final lesson learned from the drama can be a difficult test of loyalty.
You're among the tribe of Reuben. You exercise no authority here. You separate yourselves from our midst.
Amzai! Please, Amzai!
It's so sad seeing all the little kids there too. Like, what is God thinking right now? Like, oh, those
sons of
guilty
Korah
children,
suffered the loss
they
of their
shouldn't have been
father
going
and other
along
close
with their
friends
I mean, those
and
are
family
young
members.
kids. They're like
Today,
10.
Christians may suffer painful personal losses too, but friendships or family ties should never take precedence over our loyalty to God. It can be difficult to bring the wrongdoing of a friend to light, or to support the elders as they readjust a family relative.
Readjust.
However, Psalm 18:25 says, with someone loyal, Jehovah will act in loyalty.
By readjust, they mean shun indefinitely.
So again we ask, which drama character did you identify with? Deep within your person. Throughout our lives, we will have opportunities to evaluate ourselves on this matter. So the next time things do not go as you expect, analyze what you feel surfacing from deep inside. A tendency toward murmuring? Is pride pushing away good motive? Are we subtly taking on the character of Korah, Dathan, or Abiram? Instead, may we all identify with the sons of Korah. Like the nation of Israel, we are poised at the threshold of God's new world.
How old is this?
Before
like
entering, you may
20,
face
30
issues
years?
that test your loyalty, even affecting your life and that of
We
your
are on
family.
the threshold of it.
Be determined to stay focused on the bigger issue of God's sovereignty. Yes, respect Jehovah's authority. In so doing, you have the prospect of becoming perfect sons and daughters of Jehovah, being showered with his blessings for all eternity.
I like this little studio setup. I think that ends our drama. We gratefully acknowledge the help of the following in the production of this program. It's just like, wait, what is this? I don't think I've ever seen credits before. Computer-generated imagery by Orbis. Oh yeah, and they were blasting Korah in these cohorts. Has there ever been credits like this before and I just missed it? Or is this like a new thing where they hired like outside studios to do some of their stuff? Huh. Interesting. I guess we'll see when we go through all these to what extent they use outside studios or they've just learned how to do it all in-house. Well, there you have it. I guess I can pause this. Well, there you have it. The end of the ancient apostates, those vagabonds, those ne'er-do-wells that were trying to subvert the authority of Moses. Why would you ever go against Moses? Well, clear, because you will get a blast of fire from the smoke monster from Lost that will incinerate you and your children unless your guilty, greedy, prideful 10-year-old doesn't side with some random old guy with a staff. It's really crazy to me, especially thinking that, you know, all those little kids and everything that were like playing the music instruments, you know, they weren't they weren't like older. You would say that, you know, they were children. They couldn't probably make decisions on their own, and they were just caught up in this blast of fire and earthquakes that was like created the sliding people. It looked like Tremors was going on. So after Kevin Bacon gets done with his little speech, his children go down there with him, and you think, well, that's not the kid's fault. It can't be the kid's fault. And if you're punishing that kid for what the father did, well, that's messed up. Like if someone is a convicted felon or murderer, let's just say, you don't throw their son in jail. You don't put them on the electric chair like, well, your DNA must be bad. So I don't know. That's a more wild one, but things always get wild whenever you decide to take a literal Bible or a Bible story, say that it's literal, and then you try and make that into like a movie production. It just gets really wild pretty fast. But yep, that will be all we have for the Ancient Apostates. It seemed like there was several people that wanted me to watch the Prodigal Son next. So I think that's the one we'll go with next. That one's pretty cool. The lead actor, the second actor, I don't know who it was. I'll find out when we get there. But he was actually in my brother's wedding. Andy, he was a good friend of my brother's. So that'll be pretty fun. Get to see him. I remember him telling me about doing the little acting classes and everything. So we'll have a few stories and insights to add to the fray. Thank you so much for watching. For all of those that are still here and stuck it out to the very end, don't forget, if you're not subscribed already, to subscribe to the channel and like this video. It helps it get out to more people on YouTube. Like I said at the beginning, we have a lot of very cool videos coming up. It's going to be one of the brightest spots of the JW Thoughts channel that has ever existed. So look forward to all of those things, and we will catch you guys next time. Like that cheesy smile? We'll catch you guys next time. After I just threw my dirty snot rag in here. Okay. Oh, can you see there? Or can you see? Boom. If I get my snot rag into the cup of coffee, you have to not only like and subscribe, but you also have to share the video with someone. Boom. Share the video with someone. I did it.